I like Dave Portnoy. I like Barstool Sports for the most part. I like Fox Sports. I like Big Noon Kickoff. I think all of those things are fun and interesting and engaging and exciting for several different reasons. What was Ohio State supposed to do with Dave Portnoy joining the Fox Sports pregame show? Were they supposed to let an unabashed Michigan fan who has said inflammatory things about Ohio State, that program, the head coach, the fan base, were they supposed to welcome him with open arms into their stadium? I have kind of the opposite reaction. I saw so many people, especially Barstool Sports personalities, say that the report that Ohio State had banned Dave Portnoy from the stadium, they called it soft. Now, I think it's worth probably noting that Ohio State says they didn't ban him, that it was Fox Sports' decision to say he was not going to be inside the stadium, and that Fox Sports is now saying that, hey, he's not going to be in any stadiums this year, and that Dave Portnoy has said pretty mean, inflammatory things about the Big Ten and the Big Ten commissioner with the whole cheating scandal going on. And so it's a weird decision and dynamic for Fox Sports to bring in somebody that the Big Ten might not be over the moon excited that they brought in, whatever the case, all that backstory, context, etc. Not to say that it's not important, but the greater overall point, I think, still stands in that there were a lot of people who called it soft to say, hey, we're not going to let him in our stadium. I don't think that it's soft. I think that it's part of the rivalry, and I think that's awesome. I think that that's everything that college football rivalries are supposed to be about, that you're not going to let somebody who is going to be unabashed in their flag waving for your chief rival, that you're going to say, hell no, they're not going to come into our stadium. Hell no, I'm not going to welcome them into our home. That makes all the sense in the world. Now, I think at the same time, a Michigan fan could argue, well, Urban Meyer is on the Fox pregame show, and we've never told him that he can't be in our stadium. And I think that there's a difference between Urban Meyer being the former head coach of Ohio State, and if Urban Meyer had said that he doesn't respect the Michigan program, that Ohio State owns, like, there is no comparison to the things Urban Meyer has said, who happens to be affiliated with the Ohio State football program, and Dave Portnoy, who has been a gigantic fan of Michigan football. There is a clear point of delineation there, and if you can't separate those two, either you're not trying to, or you're stupid. Those are the two kind of options there. But what was Ohio State supposed to do in this situation? They let Dave Portnoy, who's probably wearing a Michigan get-up, into their stadium to cause a distraction, gets roundly booed, then allows Dave Portnoy to go on his Barstool Sports shows and say, we live rent-free in the Buckeyes' head. I told you. They didn't even care about their team on Saturday. All they cared about was booing me. Or say, hey, it would probably be best if you didn't show up. It would probably be best if you weren't here inside our stadium causing a ruckus because of all of the things you've said time and time again about how much you hate our program, how much we suck, etc., etc., etc. I don't think that it's this gigantic conspiracy. I don't think that it's, see, Ohio State's the softest program in the country. Now, I think that there are people who said and pointed out, and I think they're right. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, that anytime you get lawmakers involved, like there was the Ohio State representative who had said, we're going to make planting a flag illegal. And yes, that makes you look soft. Or there were Ohio State representatives who said, we're going to make it to where Ohio State can't play on streaming services. They've got to be. Yes, you look soft. But the idea that you were going to welcome someone from the opposition with open arms, someone who has made kind of their entire personality at times about how much they love the Michigan Wolverines. On what planet do you welcome that person with open arms and go, oh, all the things you've said about us, all the things that you've done? Yes, Michigan's starting quarterback is at that college because you helped pay to bring them there. We'll put all of those things aside and welcome you into our... No. That's what makes college football rivalries fun and interesting, entertaining, compelling, and engaging. I hate you and you hate me. But the idea that I'm supposed to just forget everything you said, done, because the company that is putting our games on TV says it's all right? No. I think it should be celebrated. I think that hatred, going back to when Ohio State and Michigan had their dust up, is that the best? You get dude's pepper sprayed, whatever. Dust up might be the word. Going back to the dust up, like I want to see that. But the sheer amount of people after the Ohio State-Michigan game were like, this is disgusting. The temperature needs to be lowered. And the hell it does. It was awesome. That's great. I want pure, unadulterated hatred to come out in college football rivalries. And that certainly appears like what has come out between Ohio State, Fox Sports, the Big Ten, Dave Portnoy, all of those things together. There's hatred there. And I'm all right with that, and I'm encouraging it. So I'm glad Ohio State said, to hell with you. You're not welcome in our house. I'm glad that Dave Portnoy has said stuff that has made Ohio State have that reaction. That's what is fun about this. That you can be unreasonable. You can be illogical. You can throw caution to the wind and be ridiculous about, at the end of the day and in the grand scheme of things, ultimately rather meaningless stuff. That's what makes this fun. So I hope that continues. I hope Dave Portnoy continues to say stupid things. I hope Barstool Sports continues to feel unwelcome. I hope Ohio State says, I don't give a damn if you think it's soft. You're not welcome here. And it's not just Dave Portnoy. It's not just Barstool Sports. It's not whatever the case may be. And if it was sitting on their high horse about some of the things, I would prefer it would just be, hey, you're a big Michigan fan? Not going to welcome you into my home. Rather than some of the other things that you could argue about why Barstool Sports or Dave Portnoy is problematic. I don't necessarily, at the end of the day, care about those things. But I do care about a rivalry that I want to see continue to burgeon and be viewed as the biggest and best rivalry in college football. I like that, frankly. And I think you should too. So I don't think it's soft. I think it's the best parts of college football being displayed for everybody to see. That's just my take on it. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. Appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're getting all the great college football content we're pumping out. Listen on the podcast feed. Drop a 5-star review. Goes a long way in helping out the channel. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Daily